I have a herniated disc of 8 millimeters between C3, between C4 and C5. And they're telling me 4 is large. So all I can say is 8 must be, extra large, huge, extraordinary, or something of that nature. Most doctors that have seen the MRI or the MRI report, and they look at me and they say, "And how did you get here?" I say, "Well, I drove and I walked in." And they look at you and says, "How?" With a disc that big, most people don't expect me to be walking upright.
I have two discs in my neck. One had a bulge that was pushing against my spinal cord. The other one is herniated and was pushing on the nerve. And then I have another one lower down between L4 and L5 that is also compressed, that is fixing to be a bulge disc also. So it's basically everything here was squishing down. And since I've had this, I had pain that went across to my shoulder blade in the back that was just excruciating pain. It was terrible. And it's all gone, every bit of it.
It hurt to breathe, it hurt to stand up, it hurt to cough, it hurt to drive your truck. My neck got down to about 15% degree of motion. We did the MUA, and the next day it was like somebody turned the lights on.
I had pain that went up the side of my neck, through the front of here, up to here, all the way down, across the shoulder, out my shoulder, down my elbow, and into my fingers. And I have none of that. It's completely gone.
Because of the MUA.
Right. That's the only thing that has changed the pain whatsoever.
But life was given back to me. I could breathe without hurting. I could take a shower for the first time and dry my hair and it not hurt my neck. Now that kind of sounds weird, but it's the simple things that it makes life a lot easier. It hurt to turn my head to shave before I did an MUA. And people think, well, it's no big deal. Go blow your nose and see what happens. Believe it or not, your neck hurts if you have an issue with the simple things in life. Go back out your driveway. I love to fish. My son and I fished the flats of Tampa Bay, down at South Shore. There were beautiful, calm days before I had an MUA. I sat home because it hurt too much to get up.
And I couldn't move, I couldn't walk. Even sitting on my couch, I couldn't do it for very long. I couldn't make coffee because I couldn't pick up the coffee maker, and it was terrible. All I did was sit on my couch and go, because I couldn't do anything. It was terrible. I hated it.
It's been a nightmare trying to get therapy to help get over it. And Dr. Hammond suggested that maybe you look at doing an MUA. Well, first he had to explain to me what it was, because it's kind of new, and it kind of scared me not knowing exactly what it was. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, hey, why not? At this point, the only other option is to do surgery, and nobody wanted to do surgery because I don't have tingling in my limbs. So I'm like, well, let's try it.
So we were trying steroids. We did 2 rounds of prednisone. We did trigger point injections. We were doing naproxen, Lyrica, and Soma. The prednisone didn't help, and all the steroids I was taking didn't help, and they were just trying to get some sort of pain relief, and nobody could do anything.
And the people I've talked to about surgery, they're not really telling you 100%. They're not telling you you're going to live without pain. They're just trying to get the numbness to go away that you may have.
I've talked to so many people that have had back surgery or neck surgery, and they still hurt, and they take pills all day, every day. And I'm not a person that wants to be on the pills to start with, and I don't have to.
My biggest reservation about the MUA when I first heard about it was you had 3 days you had to do it in a row. Well, I'm willing to give up those 3 days to get what I thought was going to be about 30 or 40% of my life back. Come to find out, you give up those 3 days, and I ended up the first time probably getting 75 to 80% of my life back. Wow, the world is now turning again.
I am capable of going back to work now, not in a year from now when maybe I might be fixed or maybe I might be able to move around. I mean, everybody else kept going, well, maybe this will work or maybe it won't. And this absolutely worked.
How many treatments did you have to have?
1.
You had just the one MUA?
One MUA.
I can plan to do things, and fortunately now I get to carry through with those plans, where before I used to say, well, if I feel okay, I'll do it that day. But you never knew until you woke up.
They put IV in. I was wheeled in, and after that I was sedated. I don't remember anything. I don't know anything that went on. And then when I came out, immediately woke up, sat in a chair for a moment, had a glass of orange juice, and then I left. And there was no residual anything. I didn't feel like I had to go home and sit on the couch, or that I was so tired I couldn't stay awake, or I didn't have to spend hours afterwards here, or anything like that.
So you kind of come, and I'll call it in your pajamas. Most loose-fitting clothes you have, and they're very comfortable. And you come in and they talk to you, they take your temperature, your blood pressure, all the typical stuff they do at a doctor's office. Then they put an IV in your hand, and believe it or not, as much as I hate needles, that wasn't bad at all. So they put the IV in your hand, and you just get a time to calm down and relax. And then the doctors come in, and Dr. Hammond came in, Dr. Asnier, and I believe Dr. Rhodes was in on the first one too. And they come in and tell you what we're going to do. They take you into the surgery center. You meet the anesthesiologist, and then he tells you, hey, this is what we're going to do. And they re-explain it to you again. They've got you all hooked up, and they put the heart monitor patches on you. And next thing he knows, he goes, well, we're going to begin now. And you feel a little bit of a cold temperature go on your hand. It's almost like somebody took a wash rag and washed your hand. And the next thing you know, you're waking up. I came out of it relatively quick. I don't know anybody that's had a problem. And I've talked to the other people that have had MUAs here. And man, you wake up and it's like, wow, I'm totally refreshed. That's the best night of sleep I've ever had. But it's only been, 45 minutes. So yeah, I'm like, wow, man, this is great. Let's go do all this good stuff today. But they tell you, make sure you don't do too much. And the next day is the same procedure. And yet I was scared, and there was really nothing to be scared of.
Yeah, within 2 to 3 days, I had no pain whatsoever. The first day I went home, it felt like the muscles were very tight, and I could tell that I had been manipulated, but it wasn't to the point where I couldn't move or anything. It was just a muscle tightness was all it was. The nerve pain, absolutely gone.
So I mean, it's like giving you your whole life back. It used to take me, I don't know, sometimes it seemed like an hour just to get out of bed and get dressed. Now I get up and get dressed pretty much like normal. It just amazes me the whole scenario that MUA has been able to give back to me.
And what things can you do now that you couldn't do before?
Oh, I don't have to sit on my couch anymore. I can wash my dishes, which was something I couldn't do. I can put my clothes in and out of the dryer and washer. I can make the coffee and just basic everyday things. That I couldn't make the bed. I couldn't reach down on the floor and pick things up. Lots of everyday things that a lot of people take for granted until all of a sudden you can't do them.
And now all of a sudden you can do them.
Oh yeah.
It's evidently an unknown procedure to the general public, maybe not in the medical field, but to the general public it's an unknown procedure. It's taking the time to learn what your options are.
I went to a regular chiropractor at first, and she did x-rays and sat down and gave me the whole list of, okay, she can fix it, she can do, but it would be 72 visits over the course of 1 whole year, and it was $5,000. And the insurance didn't cover what she was going to do. And when I came here, insurance did cover the majority of what I had to do here, which was a huge difference because I was out of work because of it. It's like all of a sudden my income dropped to nothing, and then in order to even get anything done, people want $5,000. I don't have $5,000. And with the insurance paying for it, it was so much better for me.
I'm not getting paid for this in any way. If you were thinking about doing an MUA, I have no reason, if your condition is anywhere near mine, of why you would not do this. I have heard nothing but from the other patients here of good things, and I have had extraordinary success with mine.
It's great. I've already given out cards to people that they say, oh, my back hurts, whatever. Here you go go do this because it works.
I would do it again tomorrow if I thought I could get better. And that's the only thing I tell you. If you want to get better, and surgery is not something you're really looking forward to, or they're not willing to do, the MUA is probably your best choice, your best answer, and probably going to give you the best results, even considering surgery.